Hi, welcome back. This session we're going to look at multiple documents and the Windows views. And to do that, I'm going to use a document I previously created. In fact, it's the outline of this ECDL course. If I click on Start, go up to Word 2010, you can actually see the course. The Word notes are there, so I can just click on that, and it opens them up into this view. Okay, so let's open up the full view. So this is what you normally get when you start a document in Word. Quick thing about the views. Down the bottom here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different views. We're only going to concern ourselves with 3 of them, and I only use 2 of them regularly. The first view is the view we have here, and this is referred to as the page view, page layout view, sorry, or print layout view. And what you can see is you actually get a page pretty much. This document is 2 pages long, so if I want to see all of the document, I use the scroll bar on the right or the mouse wheel if you've got one to go up and down and look at everything. If you are very familiar with Word, you use keyboard shortcuts and that sort of thing. You usually don't want to see the ribbon at the top. That's this thing up here. You would want to just be able to type and get on with your work. So if you want that sort of look and feel, then you need to click on the full screen icon down the bottom there, and you can see I've got 2 pages side by side, but it's full view. So there's the document we can see, and one of the features I want you to notice that section 4 here actually has 2 bullet points on the first page and a number of bullet points on the second page. That's something that we're going to adjust later. Okay, I want to get back from the full screen view. How do I do that? Well, to do that, you need to press the escape key, top left of the keyboard. This is what I want to get rid of. Change the color scheme to Windows Basic. There you go. That pops up all the time. It drives me nuts. I keep adjusting it. But Microsoft, in their wisdom, want to wind you up by insisting that you look at it. Okay, so back to where we were. Got the full page view here, and we want to go back to where the previous view, which was the print layout, as it's called. I call it the page layout view. To do that, you press the escape key, ESC, top left on the keyboard, normally. So I press the escape key now, and there you go. We're back to the print or page layout scheme. Okay, so as I pointed out earlier, when we drift down here, if we want to see what's on both pages, then we have to use the scroll bar over here, or as I'm doing, is use the wheel on the mouse. Okay, one of the other views, the 2 we're not going to look at, is the web view. That's this one here, and you use that when you're using Word as a web design tool, and this shows you what the document would look like if it was in a browser window, something like Internet Explorer. The next icon alongside that is the outline icon, and you would use that if you were writing a fairly substantial document with headings and chapters and so on. We're not going to look at that yet. And then the one we are going to look at is on the extreme right, so that's called the draft view. And if I click on that now, you'll see the difference. So what we've got here is, first of all, the text the text window just fills the screen. If I roll down, you can see there's no actual obvious point at which the page changes. What you do see are these dotted lines going across here. Okay, now that marks, if you like, the new page, but that has got a little bit of an issue with it. As I was saying earlier, this section 4 here is partly on page 1 and partly on page 2, and to make it tidy, it's a good idea, I think, just to push it all onto page 2. To do that, I'm going to hold down the Control key and press enter, because that throws a new page. So here we go. Control, enter, and there we go. We've now got 2 pages. As you can see, the dotted line has disappeared. So the dotted line no longer shows us where the new page is. We know where it is because we've just forced the page break, and it's at that point there, just above section 4. So, tip, if you're going to use draft view, then I would suggest you turn on the hidden markers. And you do that by clicking this little icon here. In the Home tab, in the Paragraph Control Group, you've got this little Show Hide button. If you click on it, it shows you several things. The 2 things here that are most noticeable are the end of paragraph markers. That's these little like backward P with a bit of an extra line. And also, more usefully, you've got the page breaks, so we can see where the page breaks occur. Okay, so this view is called the draft view, and it's useful if you want to look at things as you're typing them. You don't want the page breaks to get in the way. And if you're outlining a document, if you are actually starting from scratch and you're putting in a couple of headings and so on, and you know you're going to fill some text in later and you want it on different pages, this is really quite a nice view to use. Okay, let's go back to print layout view. So that's a little bit about the views. You can also find those views if you click on the View tab, right? The top ribbon, the View ribbon, the View tab on the ribbon. And there you see we got View, and there they are there: print layout, full screen, web outline, outline, and draft. Okay. Now we've got some other bits and pieces here, and that's what we're going to focus on in a moment. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a second document there. In fact, this document is going to be just a blank document. So click on File, go down to New, and then Blank Document. So click on Blank Document. So now I've got a blank document. If you look down on the taskbar down the bottom here, you can see that Word has now got sort of one icon, but basically you can see a little bit of an overlap. So it sort of suggests that we've got 2 documents. That irritating little thing that popped up earlier, telling me that oh, you want to adjust the screen. If I'd left that on, if I'd not worried about it, we would have actually had 2 little views here of the documents concerned. Because my machine was going slowly, a lot of video equipment in the background, instead of getting 2 views, I actually just get notes on what they are. So the one tells me it's Word notes, the other one tells me it's document 1. And switching between the documents is just a question of clicking in the one you want to see. Okay, so got a blank document here. Now I want to see both of them on the screen at the same time. And to do that, I go to the View tab and click on it, and I get the View ribbon. And in the Window control group here, I've got one that says Arrange All. So if I click on that, then the open documents appear one on top of the other. And if I was doing some editing, moving stuff from one document to the other, this is quite a nice view, or it's useful. Personally, I would rather see the 2 things side by side, but Windows gives them you like this. So if I want to move stuff from this document, let's say section 4, I want to reproduce that in the blank document. There's all of section 4. Right click on it and go to copy, and I go into the other document. Right click on that now and click paste. There it arrives there. I'll just say something about these 3 buttons here. When you click paste, you get 3 options. The first is to keep the source formatting. What that means is the formatting that was used in the document, that place where you were copying the text from, is retained when you go to the new site. The next document, the next icon is the merge formatting. And what happens here is that the formatting changes a little bit. The things like the bold headers will be carried across, and but the text, the actual text size, the font and size, will be as in the original document. Sorry, as in the document that you're copying it to. And the third icon is just text. So that will just give you the text. And you can see the changes appearing there as we do it. So that's keeping the source formatting so it looks exactly as it did in the original document. This one, slight changes. The font change, the font size, sorry, the fonts don't change, the font stays the same size, but things like bold will change. And then this one, where it just copies the text. You can't see things very well with this view because of the way Word works. So I'm going to keep the source formatting. Okay, so there we are. We've got two views, and we can look at them and move things from one to the other. A word of warning, if you do a little bit of drag and drop, if I were to highlight section 5, and if I were to drag and drop that across, then I'm not going to do it. Section 5 would disappear from this document and would appear in the other document. So drag and drop is not copying. Okay. Well, one other little thing I'm going to look at while I'm here, and it's the way I prefer to do it, is instead of having it up and down like this, Windows 7 and Office 2010 have a nice feature. You can click in the title bar here, Word Notes, and if you drag the window to the right, and it's important that the arrow is dragged across to the right side of the screen. If I drag, watch what happens when the arrow goes across. There you go. It now fills half the page. And I can do the same thing on the left here. Catch hold of the title bar, drag it across. As soon as the arrow goes across, boom. Now, this I would much prefer. So when I'm doing this, this is the way I like to handle things. I can see things on the left and right. For me, it's just a lot easier. If I want to go back to the full screen for something, if I finish what I'm doing, I just want to go back and have a look at it, then I've got another alternative. I can grab hold of the toolbar and I can push it this time not to the sides but straight up to the top, and it fills the screen as a normal window. Okay, so there's a little bit on the views and windows and handling multiple documents.